Please show us a sign.
Come towards us now.
A menacing shapeshifter, a lost queen and tortured prisoners await the most haunted team as we travel to Cumbria.
And this week I brought my team to a place of murder, execution and torture. Welcome to Most Haunted and to Carlisle Castle.
Built on the site of an old Roman fort, Carlisle Castle represents over 9 centuries of military and royal activity on the Anglo-Scottish border. Having driven the Scots out of this area, William II, son of William the Conqueror, ordered that a Norman-style castle be built here. The land was constantly fought over, and the castle changed hands between the English and the Scots many times. With so much suffering associated with it, it's hardly surprising that Carlisle Castle evokes so many ghost stories.
The whole of Carlisle Castle is apparently riddled with paranormal phenomena. Many people have witnessed strange things going inside as well as outside here in the grounds. Lots of people have seen and witnessed the ghosts of soldiers. They've heard the screams and cries of the incarcerated. But most interestingly has to be the ghost of a playful jester, which still likes to play pranks on unsuspecting guests to this day.
However, some of the guests of this castle would have done anything not to be here. After the failed Jacobite Rising of 1745, the castle returned to English hands for the last time and was used to imprison the Jacobite soldiers who had been defeated at the Battle of Culloden.
In the 1280s, Edward I had captured prisoners in this dungeon with chains around their necks, perched on a ledge. When they fell forward through tiredness or complete exhaustion, they would hang themselves. The chains were so tight. There is an area of the wall called the licking stone. This was the only moisture available to some prisoners, and there is a clear indentation in the wall where the prisoners fought to quench their thirst. It was seen that their tortured souls have remained after death, as dark figures have been seen walking endlessly around this area, moaning as if in great pain. One prisoner is said to have a dislike for anyone in the area, and his ghost is said to attack unwelcome visitors.
But not all the ghosts associated with Carlisle Castle come from its military history.
In the early 1800s, a lady's skeleton was discovered bricked into one of the walls of the captain's tower. 3 rings upon the bony digits of the lady's fingers and remnants of her silk tartan dress were evident. There were no clues to her identity, but evidence leads us to believe that she was walled up alive. Ever since this grisly discovery, her spirit is said to haunt the castle, looking for her captors. So alarming is her image that it is documented that one soldier actually died of fright upon meeting her loathsome figure. But these aren't the only deaths to have occurred here. In the 1800s, a sergeant committed suicide from a beam, and his wandering soul is also said to haunt this place.
Hoping that tonight will bring us into contact with some of the past inhabitants of Carlisle Castle, I have asked historian Leslie Smith to give us more information on the famous names that would have resided here.
This castle became a very important site to Edward I and Edward II in their tremendous battle against William Wallace and Robert Bruce. It was really important and a place where all sorts of difficulties occurred. When we come into another time, the time of Henry VIII, Henry was very keen, because of the Scottish-French allegiance, to make sure that this area on the border was properly looked after. So extra fortification was put in place with a Moravian builder who was actually sacked a couple of years later. But he did build an extraordinary looking place, and in fact you will find other properties quite like this in places like Dover. Mary, Queen of Scots, came here when she first escaped from Scotland and was held here, some say for 2 months, some for a little longer. When her son, James I and James VI of Scotland, ascended the throne, of course the border punch-ups stopped. But it didn't mean this place was quiet. Again, its geographical location meant there were further difficulties. And when the great rebellions of Bonnie Prince Charlie went into England and then came back out again, they took this place briefly before Cumberland got hold of them, and he was known as the Bloody Butcher. Some of those people suffered most terribly within these castle walls. The walls may reverberate with the sound of their cries and the lives that have been and gone, but they're held here in the stones of Carlisle Castle.
History plays an important part of our investigations, but in order to get an accurate picture, we must consider a building's architecture and its location, something that I wish to discuss with parapsychologist Dr. Kieran O'Keefe.
Now, we're here in Carlisle, and I mean, I think we're sort of sheltered from the busy city itself. You can hear it just in the background. But I think once we're inside investigating, the walls are so thick, I don't really think we're going to hear much noise.
You're right. I think, you know, with the size of the walls, the thickness of the walls, and certainly some of the locations that are further in the castle, we're not going to have that problem of extraneous noise. We will, however, especially in some of the tunnel areas and the dungeon areas, have a reverberation issue. So people need to be very, very vigilant about the fact if they hear footsteps that it's not actually them. So they need to stop. If they still hear one or two, then fine. But if they don't hear any after that, then bear in mind it could be your own footsteps just reverberating or echoing around the chamber.
What do you think to the story of the skeleton of the lady in the rings on her hands?
I think this story makes the apparition sighting stand out a little bit more than the rest, because we've got, you know, an account of a soldier who was literally scared to death. And also we've got the account of this actual skeleton as well. It's not just a reference to somebody that lived here or may have lived here or a servant. You've got the actual story of the skeleton. I have to remain a little bit sceptical, however, because the main account does come from 1842, and since then we haven't really had any direct encounters with the apparition. We've just had a few visitors to the castle talking about a face in the window, and you know my feelings about that. We might be dealing with pareidolia.
Is there anything that we've got to be wary of tonight?
I think the Most Haunted team are going to investigate as professionally as they normally do. All right, people are going to get scared, there's going to be a suggestion factor. You know what we have to look out for tonight? It's something you have to look out for, and also your husband.
Oh, what? Ooh,
because there's a curse here in Carlisle. Literally, a couple of minutes walk down here is a cursed stone. The Bishop of Glasgow put a curse on various members of the family associated with the borders, and Beatty is one of those families.
I know it well. I know it very well. You're naughty. You planted that seed in my head now. And what else should we be wary of?
There is one particular phenomenon associated with this castle. You don't see that often, and that's a shapeshifter case.
Oh, I like that.
In an area of the keep, there's a particular chair where accounts have varied in terms of what shape is seen on the chair. Some have said a man, and then there are variations around that. But we are dealing with rare phenomena, a shapeshifter case. If people do actually see anything in a chair, and I'm not going to say where it is, but if they see anything in a chair, not to describe it, because I don't want that suggestion implanted in anybody else's mind, because we might get interesting accounts in one vigil and interesting accounts in another vigil, but they're seeing different shapes.
But to describe it on camera, but not talk about it.
Exactly,
right,
not to talk about it with the rest of the team.
OK, I'm looking forward to it. Are you?
Very much so.
With the curse of the With the curse of the Beaties hanging over our heads and the prospect of meeting up with an evil shapeshifter before us, Kieran and I meet up with medium Chris Conway to see what spiritual manifestations he picks up on as we begin our lit walk around in the castle's keep.
There's something very, very creepy about this particular location. And normally when you go into a castle, you go, oh, isn't it lovely? It's got lovely artefacts, it's got this, it's got that and the other. But there's something really quite eerie about this place.
Quite sinister.
Yeah. I don't know, do you want to go into any particular rooms off this corridor, or do you want to keep...
I've been drawn to this one here.
Okay, let's keep going, yeah, sure. Okay, after
you. Go
you.
first.
Right, Kieran, are you feeling all right about in here?
Yeah, fine, and it's definitely colder, but not as much as you think. It's less than a degree. It's more because of the dampness, I think.
I suppose so, yeah, really damp in here. So you're picking up sinister in particular?
Yes.
In here?
Yes, and we've actually got a spirit in here.
Right.
Okay.
Can you see them?
Yes, it's over in the corner.
It's over in the corner.
Okay.
Okay. Where, if I walk towards him, her?
Okay. Him.
Him? Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
Everybody stand still for a second.
Who's here? Tell us who's here.
A Scotsman. Okay, that's the way I'm going to describe him. He's wearing like a white, I'm going to call it a blouse, but it's not a blouse, it's like a shirt. And he's got a sort of greeny blue kilt on.
And is he speaking to you?
Yeah.
What's he saying?
Okay. He's been, pretty obvious, been a dodgy, but he's been held prisoner here. Okay, he's been held prisoner. Come on. The name's Donald.
Is that who we're hearing?
It will be.
What would you say? You're hearing it.
Yeah, I'd like it to be a little bit more controlled. We could ask for 2 wines or something like that.
Okay.
Shall I ask? What do you want to ask?
No, you can ask of it.
Okay. Donald, do you need help? Do you need help? Do you need help? If you need help, can you make that noise for me? That was a voice.
That was a voice.
That was a...
He's telling me there was a battle, and after the battle, they've took him and his fellow soldiers, and they've put them in here. And he was telling me that there was hundreds of people all trapped in here. And what he's telling me what they're doing is, and while he's here, they're coming in and they're taking people to hang them. But they say it's as if they're playing mind games with them, because they're then coming in and taking other people and they're letting them go.
Oh, so they don't know what's going to happen.
So they don't know what's going to happen.
The horrifying moan has stopped us in our tracks.
What's going to happen?
Is this moan a foretaste of what is to come tonight as we investigate this most haunted of castles?
Like danger mentally.
Oh, really?
Because it's playing with us.
So I just felt like somebody was behind me. Like...
What was that?
Oh, something's messing.
Welcome back to Most Haunted and our investigation of Carlisle Castle. You join us in the castle's dungeon, where our lit walk around with Kieran and medium Chris Conway has been interrupted by a very eerie moan.
It's as if they're playing mind games with them, because they're then coming in and taking other people and they're letting them go.
Oh, so they don't know what's going to happen.
So they don't know what's going to happen.
What? That wasn't anybody's stomach.
No.
Nope.
Not mine.
Not mine.
That was bizarre. it's like a real...
Well, what I'm saying, the man it's fear, and he's absolutely terrified. And sorry, but I need to touch this wall.
Is he terrified because we're English?
No. He's terrified. What he's saying to me is he's terrified what's going to happen to him.
So he's still living in the moon?
Yeah.
He's still living
He's stuck there. The reason I'm feeling that wall is because he's telling me that this is their soul, this is what's keeping them alive. The dampness on this wall is what's keeping them alive.
What do you mean?
They're drinking it.
Oh, they're drinking the water off the wall, there?
That they're living in fear of the footsteps coming because they can hear them coming.
Bloody shame, how awful. Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that?
I'm going to stay in here and see if it's coming from there.
Kieran, that's not anybody's feet, is it?
I hope not.
No, but I mean, you have to have steel toes to make that noise on this stone floor.
True.
That's you going.
Yeah, sorry.
Do you want to move to another
Yeah.
area? Okay. Goodbye, Donald. We'll see you later.
Bye, Donald.
Do you get a specific sense?
It's more a sense than an actual spirit. But what I'm picking up here, it's very much military. It's very much soldiers that I'm getting up here, and they're very much here preparing and guarding. I'm pretty sure the soldiers up here, I'm pretty sure it's the same soldiers that with the spirit down the stair, Donald, that we met earlier, was talking about. I'm pretty sure they'd come from this area.
Oh, to come and get them?
To come and get them.
So are they still replaying everything that went on?
Yeah. This is, I'm sort of going off track here a wee bit, but we're actually getting a female spirit.
Okay.
But we're actually getting a female spirit.
Okay.
But we're actually getting a female spirit.
Okay.
But the female spirit doesn't belong here. It's as if she's trying to attract us.
Oh, from where?
And she's coming, it's from outside.
What, from... she doesn't belong in this room, she doesn't belong in the castle?
Doesn't belong in this room.
Ah.
But she's very much trying to attract us. It's like somebody wanting us to follow her, sort of. But she's going outside.
All right, so she's outside somewhere.
It's very much the archetypal female ghost that you would see. The long dress. She's not speaking. It's almost as if she's playing with us because she's coming in and then going away and then she's coming in as if she's playing with us. I don't think she was seen too much in here, but she'll be seen more outside.
Should we move to another area?
Yeah. So we're coming up the stairs. Standing over here was a man with a really big moustache.
Really?
Really big moustache.
What was he wearing?
Like a white... See altar boys? And they've got this sort of fluffy frilled collar. He had a collar like that.
Oh, right.
That's all I can remember of
Was
him.
he young in his looks?
No, I would say late 50s. I would say early 60s. I would say early 60s.
Why is he up here? Why?
I'd like to try and find out as the night goes on, but he was standing right there watching us.
Against the wall,
and
just watching us. How interesting.
Just disappeared.
Where would you say that we were more likely to get a lot of activity this evening, more so than any other place?
Dungeons, without a doubt, that's going to be... I've already had a lot of activity down there, and it's going to be fascinating, I think, as the lights go off. The air gets thinner, we start to hear a lot more, a lot easier. Definitely there. I'd say that's going to be the sort of
You're
hot
really
spots.
excited,
Yes, I am.
aren't you? Yeah,
Really.
you really are. And what about you, Kieran?
I'm very excited given what has already happened in the dungeons. I'm looking forward to it because it means we can reduce the number of people, make it a little bit more controlled. But you saw my face. I've never been in a situation where we've had such a variety of sound.
Okay. Now let's just call in Leslie. How excited are you on a scale of 1 to 10 about this location?
Well, I'm excited about 8 and frightened about 24. Of what we've had already, something to go by. The location's absolutely marvellous, and some of the things you said have been terrific. I particularly liked it when we went into the dungeon part there, and there was all this sound. And the description of this man almost certainly are Jacobite prisoners that were held here. They were taken from there to Gallows Hill where they were executed. You're absolutely right. Then we went into the room downstairs, didn't we? And there is a story about a lady there. I'm not going to say too much else associated with that room, which I'm particularly interested in. And then when we came in this room, this was exciting for me, because the gentleman you described, this big moustache that you talked about, well, we know some of the great Victorians loved these great big moustaches, as indeed the Edwardians did, and they were definitely here. This castle has had in continuous memory soldiers here, or continuous time within living memory. And then that white frilly collar, that's thrown me a bit, because that sounds like a ruff to me. That sounds like a Tudor ruff that you described, which is of a different period. Although the Tudors also had some grand moustaches, but not quite like that way. I think we've probably got something of a different period there. But there's one thing that might throw us, we should be aware of. King David I of Scotland took this castle in the 12th century and had it for quite a while. So these Scotsmen around might not always be prisoners.
No.
And that means you too.
Yeah.
All right, brilliant. Let's turn all the lights off in the castle and get cracking then, yeah? Kieran, let's lead the way.
Okay.
Chris has picked up on the spirits of many fellow countrymen, trapped in a limbo in this magnificent castle. Will any of these spirits confront us as we investigate this place through the night?
This is a very important man when he was alive. He is here.
I just saw something. Here. Like a figure.
What was that?
It's a more sinister spirit that we're talking about here.
I don't like it. I really don't like it.
Aware that we have such a large castle to explore in a relatively short time, we set up the CCTV cameras to cover the key areas of the castle. With Carl, Kieran, Stuart and Chris Burton monitoring the cameras from the hub, I lead the rest of the team back to the storeroom where Chris had earlier in the walk-around picked up on a mysterious man.
What do you sense here?
We've actually got, do you remember the man that I described earlier on with the big moustache? We've got him. Got his first name.
What is it?
Francis.
Francis.
He's telling me that he actually works. He works for the.
What's the matter, Kat? Who's behind me? No one. But I just felt like somebody was behind me. That was.
Just before Kat, it felt like someone was pulling my jacket a little bit.
It's funny that you've got that, because you've got that as this gentleman's come back in to the energy. And he's walking about, and this is a very important man when he was alive. He is here, not so much as a jailer, but like a protector.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Does make some sense. Yeah.
Okay, the name he's bringing through is Francis. Is it Sir Francis? Can't get his second.
Have you got any surname at all?
That's no. I tell you what. I can tell you what it sounds like. It starts with no. Okay, and that's all I'm getting from.
I know who it is.
Okay.
I know who it is.
Okay, come on.
You know who it is?
It's Knowles. He was here to look after somebody very important. He was a keeper.
Queen.
Do you know what Queen?
Just give me a minute. The Queen can't speak English. Okay, if that makes sense to you. Come on.
Yes, it does.
He's teaching her English. Apparently she's always wanted to speak to Queen Elizabeth.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Mary, Queen of Scots, fled into Scotland and cast herself upon the mercy of Elizabeth of England, her cousin. And she was locked up. She was locked up here, and Sir Francis Knollys was her keeper. But we know she did have to be taught English. I would expect her to have known it by now, but maybe some of the pronunciations or the ways was what Knollys was doing to look after her while she was here.
Should we head back?
Yeah, I think we've been quite a lot.
Yeah.
A Scottish prisoner, a queen and her protector, Carlisle Castle is already proving to be a focus for paranormal phenomena. What more can we expect as we continue our investigation through the night?
Phil, I actually start. I'm feeling quite sick.
We heard the footsteps downstairs again.
What was that?
I just saw something. Here. Like a figure.
I don't like it, I really don't.
Welcome back to Most Haunted and our investigation of Carlisle Castle. Already we have been witness to strange audio phenomena that medium Chris Conway believes is linked to Mary Queen of Scots and the Jacobean prisoners once held here. Hoping to find concrete evidence of the existence of these spirits, I, along with Chris, Leslie and Kath, monitor the CCTV cameras. With the rest of the team positioned in the storerooms, Carl shuts himself in one of the adjoining storeroom cells.
Oh yeah.
Come on, if you're here, do something to me in this room. Do you know, weirdly enough, I'm feeling quite sick. My head is killing me in here.
Stomach sick?
Nausea. There's no reason for it, because I know, I wouldn't have thought that this at any point would have ever been a jail cell.
No. Lack of air, maybe? But they wouldn't onset that quickly.
It's almost like something's clamping on the side of my head.
Strangely, as Carl starts to feel ill, in the hub we begin to hear unsettling noises from the corridor outside.
Is there anybody here? If you're here,
Oh, why?
make another noise, please. Come towards us if you're here.
I heard that. Oh, that was very good. It's very clear.
Fantastic, thank you so much.
Should we step out of this corridor to give you alone time?
Yeah, why didn't you...
If we step into the main hall,
Yeah.
if there is anybody there, there's a gentleman in the little cell area down there. I'd like you to brush your hand through his hair.
Convinced that there is something moving in the corridor beside us, Chris gets up to investigate.
Took Carl's hair. We sat there waiting.
Coming right down to the end of the corridor.
No, there's
Yeah.
flash there. Flash. What's that?
That's fantastic. Clear. Very clear.
If there is anybody there at all, can you come round us and touch one of us? He's coming up the stairs.
Can't be.
No. Are you alright?
I'm feeling quite nauseous now.
You're still feeling nauseous?
Yeah, worse, but it's almost like someone spat in my face, and I mean, we'll see me move, but there's nothing there, and I've tested to see there's no cobwebs or anything there, but it's almost like someone...
We were standing in the middle, and it was literally just after you went into that room. We heard footsteps down here.
The footsteps that both groups are hearing are very intriguing. Are they linked to the Scottish prisoners held captive here? Or might they be linked to the ghost of Mary Queen of Scots and Sir Francis Knolly, the man whose job it was to look after her during her time here? To find out more, we head back to the castle's keep.
Please, make more noise. Let us see your footsteps. What?
Sorry.
What was it? Was it
Oh,
scratch or touch or poke? Oh. Are there any spirit people here? Whoever just touched Carl, touch somebody else. Talk to Chris. Oh, how weird. I just saw something here, like a figure, a proper figure.
Are we in danger here, do you think?
I don't think we're in danger physically, but we're in danger mentally.
Oh, really?
Because it's brainless.
Oh, something's messing.
Is it? Do you think it's some shape thing moving around looking
Could
like
be.
each of us?
I'm trying to communicate with what we've got in here. This is the spirit that we've not had yet.
What's going on, Chris? Can you say
Yeah,
that? I'm not touching you. I have not touched you. I have not touched
I was
you.
on you then, Catherine. Nothing touched
We've
you.
got a spirit in here.
What is?
We've got a spirit in here.
Yeah.
It's not communicating now. It's a more sinister spirit that we're talking about here.
You will not show yourself to us in your true form. Anything?
I thought one of you guys was standing right next to me and did this. And I literally moved. I went... Because, you know what I'm talking about? Like, Leslie's there now. I'm not looking at her. I know she's there. I can see her up the corner of my eye. She's there. And all of a sudden, whatever it was there. And I went right next to her and I went like that to get out of the way. And look, in there.
I know, that's what's so scary, isn't it?
I don't like it. I really don't like it. Hiding behind the wall.
The funny thing is, he's actually putting in my mind there as well.
Oh, why? What's he
Because
doing?
I thought Leslie was beside me.
Could what we are experiencing be the castle's infamous shapeshifter? Determined to obtain concrete evidence, Carl leads a team to the area most associated with this dark and menacing energy, the keep's second floor.
There was a belief, a medieval belief, that a dark force known as a broccolin, particularly, which was drawn up by black magic or magic, could be sealed inside something. What's always associated with a broccolin is shapeshifting.
What's the matter?
And shapeshifting, it's seen as a black mist, and it will transform to anything around you. It's not human, it never was human.
You're on edge, aren't you, Chris?
Not very much so. I've never been on edge before, I'll be honest with you. Never.
In your whole life?
My whole life I've never been on edge. Because I've always known it's there. And what I don't like, even the dark forces, I know it's there. But what I don't like with this is, even I don't know it's there.
See, I don't like that at all. Okay, Chris.
Right. On the chairs. I've had people blowing in my neck, touching my ears, which doesn't affect me the same, but I don't like what's there, I'll be honest with you. I can't communicate with it, I can't make any sense of it, and it's evil, it's pure evil.
You see, there have been some sieges here, a number of them, there's a lot of death, a lot of destruction. At one point, people eating rats in the tent and starvation. So we've had some really bad things happening here.
Are you alright, Carl?
No.
What's going on?
I've been touched. I'm actually being touched. Things are... My neck and now my left eye seems like it's drooping, almost like it's going numb. And it hurts, it really hurts. Let's go down to the dungeon, shall we?
Yeah.
I think I need to get out of here for some reason.
Okay.
With tensions building throughout the castle, we make our way towards the dungeon. What awaits us there as our investigation continues?
Come towards us now.
It's behind me.
They've crowded round us. That's not good.
Welcome back to Most Haunted. Our investigation into Carlisle Castle is proving to be an unsettling experience. Already many members of the team have experienced the feeling of being touched by what might be the unseen hands of the castle's supposed shapeshifter. Hoping to make further contact with the spirits believed to reside here, Kieran, Stuart and Chris Burton head for the Captain's Tower, while Carl, Chris, Leslie and myself hold a séance in the Carlisle Castle dungeon.
Come towards us now. Any spirits that are present here in this place, come towards us now, whomever you are. Come towards us now. We are not frightened of you, sirs. Come towards us. We can help you if you want to.
It's behind me, it's behind me, it's behind me.
Something is behind us. Do what you will. Do what you must. Come towards us. Stand in the centre of this circle now, please, sirs.
In the Captain's Tower, Kieran, Stuart and Chris Burton are hoping to make contact with the spirit of the woman whose body was found entombed in the wall here.
She was definitely found in the Captain's Tower.
So it's somewhere in this building.
She was found walled up in the Captain's Tower.
Clear yourself. Whoa! What going, Karen?
Over here, through a light go across.
Never seen you run so
I
fast,
just saw a light go
man.
across.
You scared me then, man.
Sorry. I just saw a light, a white light go across this way. It looked like, so somebody, like a torchlight. You all right? Keep looking out there.
I've just seen a light in that corner, near the window.
Inside or outside? Stuart?
Inside. I don't think I've caught it on camera. It was while I was walking back this way. It just caught the corner of my eye. I just saw the tail end of it, whatever it may have been.
Everybody here, all the soldiers that were killed here, come towards us now. We can help you. Come towards us. Oh, lift these gentlemen up. Lift them up. Lift them off the floor. Can you lift them up? Lift them up. You okay? Chris, hold. You alright? What are you feeling?
I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm fine.
Do you want out now?
I'm okay.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine.
If there is anybody there, can you introduce yourself in any way that you see fit? touch one of us, brush past one of us. Maybe you can produce a light. Who knows, just anything.
Kieran, are there any flies in here? Because something just flew across this shot then. It was light moving diagonally from the bottom right to the top left of shot.
For us to individually see lights, but with our naked eye and not with the camera,
Yes.
lights, there's some sort of source of light, whether it's reflection from outside or
It's some kind of energy, isn't it?
or whether it's actually something paranormal, who's to say?
Okay.
But it's lights, it's not, it can't be confused for dust. is
No,
what
no,
I'm saying.
no.
So it's a little bit more...
It's different, isn't it?
a little bit more intriguing.
They're not letting me communicate.
That's scary.
They're squeezing my
No,
hand.
that's
They're not letting me
not good.
communicate. No.
That's not good.
I almost want to say it's too strong.
I'm shaking. I am shaking.
I don't like this. I can't communicate, I can't do anything.
With medium Chris Conway believing that the spirits are no longer willing to interact with us, we continued our investigation into other areas of the castle, but could gather no further evidence of spiritual activity. With the benefit of the coal light of day, what does Dr. Kieran O'Keefe make of our investigation into this most haunted of sites?
We had high expectations and we weren't disappointed. Now, the shape-shifting phenomena is associated with a particular area of the castle, one of the upper rooms and a couple of chairs that are located against a wall. Now, the shape-shifting phenomena associated with the team didn't happen in that particular room, but it did happen elsewhere. And although I was extremely cynical that we'd capture anything to do with shape-shifting, here we were, the entire Most Haunted team, on a vigil, and the shapeshifter, whatever it was, seemed to be playing games.
I just saw something here, like a figure.
People were genuinely shaken up by the fact that there had been somebody or something standing next to them.
Anything? What?
And even today, having reviewed the footage over some time and talked to the crew, it's still a topic of conversation because it was such an intense experience.
Oh, something's messing.
In addition to the shape-shifting phenomena, there was also an odd auditory phenomena that was to do with footsteps walking up the stairs. What's that? Somebody's coming up the stairs. It appeared as though somebody was walking along the wooden part of the floor, on the ground part, and then stepping onto the stone area and coming up the stairs. And so here we have an auditory phenomena that, I'll be honest, I cannot explain. It's some of the most impressive auditory phenomena that I've heard on the Most Haunted investigations. All in all, Most Haunted's investigation of Carlisle Castle was a fantastic one. I think anybody that was involved was completely blown away by the idea of shape-shifting and also by these weird auditory phenomena, and also by some intense emotional experiences in the dungeon area.
Our investigation of Carlisle Castle has been eventful, with every member of the team, including Kieran, impressed by the events we had witnessed. Where will our journey through the paranormal lead us next? Until then, sleep tight.
A patient who wants to die brings back haunting memories to disturb Owen. If you've recorded last week's Greys and haven't had the chance to watch it yet, you can do what I'm going to do and sit up till silly o'clock tonight, because you need to see it before the brand new episode here on Living tomorrow at 9. Next tonight, a mob hit or a serial killing? Find out in Criminal Minds.